guys, so in today's video I'm going to answer all of your questions hopefully about the technicalities behind ceramides in moisturizers. You ask things like, what is the right combination of ceramides in products? Do we even need them in our products? So hopefully I'll get to those questions in today's video. But to start off with, what is a ceramide? A ceramide is a lipid, and along with other lipids like free fatty acids and cholesterol, lipids are really important in our skin integrity and our skin barrier function. Stratum corneum, or the outer layer of cells, think of it as cells that have glue between them, holding them together and making a nice tight seal, keeping the skin hydrated and healthy. And the lipid part, the ceramides, the cholesterol, the free fatty acids, is really part of the glue that holds it all together. Ceramides are the most abundant lipid in that glue. They comprise 50% of the lipid component of the skin barrier. There are 9 different classes of ceramides that we have identified, classes 1 through 9. And importantly, in people who have a skin condition called atopic dermatitis, which is commonly referred to as eczema, we have learned that those people actually have a deficiency in expression of ceramides 1 and 3. And those people have a tendency to lose water from the skin very easily, suffer skin irritation, and have impaired barrier function. They have more transepidermal water loss and dryness. We also have learned that with age, our body stops making these ceramides as well. So as we get older, or wiser as I like to say, we have more of a tendency to have dry skin. And when we have dry skin, that means that water is being pulled out of our skin. We're more prone to irritation, and that can flare a lot of skin conditions like acne, rosacea, perioral dermatitis, eczema, obviously. Now, ceramides are something that our skin actually makes by itself, but as I said, with age and with certain skin conditions, some ceramides can become deficient. So herein comes the application of ceramides to the skin in a moisturizer. Actually, there is quite a bit of compelling evidence to suggest that using a moisturizer formulated with ceramides can help the body begin to make more of its own ceramides and restore skin barrier function and integrity. There was a study looking at children with atopic dermatitis who were given a ceramide-rich emollient to use in place of their normal moisturizer that did not have ceramides. And that study showed that in as early as 3 weeks, the children with eczema had improvement in barrier function and transepidermal water loss using the ceramide-containing moisturizer. We also have a body of evidence suggesting that using ceramide-containing moisturizers in patients with acne helps them in coping with the dryness and irritation that comes alongside many acne medications. In other words, ceramide-containing moisturizers are useful in the management of acne because it helps to make the acne treatments more tolerable, and as a result, for the patient to comply with it better and to get better control of their disease. So they seem to be very, very helpful. There are even prescription ceramide-containing moisturizers. One called Episerum, for example, has been formulated to contain a mixture of ceramides and has actually been shown in studies to improve skin barrier function. It is a medication that requires a prescription, which kind of, I know amongst dermatologists, we kind of look at one another like, really, do we need to prescribe a moisturizer? But that is one of the original ceramide containing moisturizers, and it actually has more regulated science behind its efficacy. But after that came out, other groups have looked at how does this prescription expensive ceramide containing cream compare to the over-the-counter stuff, and they're the exact same. So to answer your question, yes, applying ceramides to your skin in a moisturizer can help in restoring skin barrier integrity and improve measures of transepidermal water loss, dryness, and irritation. So we have actual data to support that claim, and so they are very useful ingredients in moisturizers. But for your next question, do I need ceramides in my moisturizer? Do I need a moisturizer with ceramides? The answer is no. There are other ingredients that also help the body to remember to make ceramides and improve skin barrier function. These include urea, lactic acid, and moisturizers that contain those ingredients have been shown to do the same thing as ceramide containing moisturizers. So you don't have to worry about getting a moisturizer that has ceramides. Yes, they can be helpful, but not essential. All right, the next question, what about the type of ceramide and the ratio of ceramide in the product? Does that matter? That's a myth, actually, that the ratio of ceramides in your products matters. The reason it's a myth is because we have 0 studies looking at the ratios of ceramides and the different types of ceramides in moisturizers as far as their impact on outcomes of measures of transepidermal water loss, dryness, irritation, and the overall function of the moisturizer. We really don't have any studies. Furthermore, we don't even know what the right mix and the right relative amounts of ceramides are in normal skin, or how to correct the issue in people with disease states like eczema. So if you remember at the beginning of the video, I pointed out that people with eczema or atopic dermatitis have been shown to have deficiency in ceramide 1 and 3. So it's not surprising that a lot of moisturizers will have some synthetic ceramide 1 or ceramide 3. And that probably piggybacks off of that finding in people with eczema, because these ingredients were put into moisturizers with people with eczema in mind. And that's what some of the studies were looking at, people with eczema. So that's probably why a lot of moisturizers have ceramide 1 and 3. It's not that they're magic, it's not that you need the right mix of them. And so, it's really just kind of that just built on the observation that people with eczema had deficiencies in ceramide 1 and 3. But it doesn't necessarily mean that those are the secret to everlasting skin barrier integrity. It's merely just kind of the way things unfolded. Now, many of you also ask, what about not only the type of ceramide, but the mix of ceramides plus some of the other lipid components that are part of our skin, like cholesterol and free fatty acids? Is there a mixture of those 3 things in moisturizers that is ideal for helping the skin barrier? And the answer is no. We really don't know that either. Like how much ceramide to cholesterol to free fatty acid is needed to go into a moisturizer to get it to do its thing. It likely doesn't matter based on what we know about just using a moisturizer, that it can help skin barrier function. It likely does not matter. And it may matter, we just don't know that. And it may matter in a specific setting, such as certain disease states may benefit from a certain balance of these ingredients versus other disease states or just normal run-of-the-mill dry winter skin. We really don't have that level of information. Compelling and interesting questions, but we don't have any studies or anything to answer that. So long story short, the amount and the type of ceramides in your moisturizers is not something that you should worry about, and you also shouldn't kill yourself to find a moisturizer that has a ceramide in it that you like. If you have a moisturizer that's working for you and doesn't have ceramides, you don't have to feel like you're missing out. You're not part of some kind of club, skin barrier club. You're doing just fine. So it's not something you have to chase after, but it is a good ingredient with evidence to back its inclusion in products. So I like it. The last question that I get is, well, can ceramides in skincare products cause problems, or is there any reason why somebody shouldn't use ceramides in their products? And the answer is honestly no. I mean, to be frank, any ingredient can potentially cause issues for people, but there are no conditions or disease states or situations in which a ceramide in a moisturizer is contraindicated. It's more important, however, to avoid other ingredients in the product that are known irritants, known allergens, and known to be problematic. Things like fragrance and essential oils that will ruin a moisturizer, whether it has ceramides and the right balance, whatever that might be. Fragrance and essential oils will ruin a moisturizer, particularly for people with eczema, because they have an impaired skin barrier and they're going to let more of that sensitizing garbage in. So that will essentially ruin the moisturizer, the fragrance and essential oils. So that's really important to avoid fragrance in your ceramide containing moisturizers. A lot of them you'll find do actually have fragrance, unfortunately. So, you know, don't chase after ceramides and accidentally end up with glorified perfume on your skin. But there are other ingredients, as I said at the beginning of the video, that, you know, help your skin perhaps equally well as ceramides, like urea and lactic acid, for example. So I've always recommended CeraVe. I love all of their products. They have gotten a little more expensive though since they've been acquired by L'Oreal, but you know, the ceramide component of it is there, and you know, there's no reason to have doubts as to the formulation of CeraVe's products due to the acquisition by L'Oreal. They're still very, very good products, and I still strongly recommend them. All right, but another product I've recommended before that I love, this is great for the body, is Eucerin's Advanced Repair Lotion. This has ceramides in it, and it also has lactic acid, so again, can help with stimulating skin barrier restoration, as well as it also has urea in it. So this is great if you've got dry, rough, bumpy skin on the body. Keratosis pilaris, this will really help. Keratosis pilaris is yet another skin condition where there's a skin barrier problem that needs to be addressed with a moisturizer. Using a moisturizer that has some of these ingredients like urea, lactic acid, and ceramides that can help remind your body to make more ceramides can be useful. And this is free of added fragrance, so no risk of irritation from fragrance, in other words. So I love this, and it's pretty affordable. Eucerin makes some great ceramide products. So I will list some of these down below for you guys. Also, check out my video on urea and skincare. I talk more about what urea can do for your skin as well in that video in detail, but I hope this answered your questions and you found it useful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.